Have you ever felt like the universe put someone in your life, but for some reason that person couldn't stay? That intense, almost magical connection, and at the same time impossible. Or maybe you're in a relationship that seems to suck you dry from the inside, and yet you can't walk away. Today, I want to show you what all of this really means, and why these painful experiences can be the greatest tools for emotional growth in your life. We tend to stay in relationships that have already shown every sign that they are no longer good for us for a very simple reason: fear. Even when arguments become constant, when the relationship enters repetitive cycles of separation and reconciliation, when there is that silent feeling of always going in circles, something inside us insists on staying. Deep down, intuition has already sensed that something is wrong, but the heart still clings to the hope that, if we persist a little longer, everything can change. This attachment almost never has anything to do with true love. It stems from the fear of loneliness, the fear of starting over, the fear of never feeling that intense connection again. The mind creates stories. What if this is the only person capable of loving me like this? What if I'm giving up too soon? What if I regret it? And so, we tolerate what hurts, justify what is painful, and normalize situations that, in any other context, we would never accept. Over time, love ceases to be a place of rest and transforms into an emotional battlefield. You begin to feel tired, insecure, confused, as if you are always trying to prove your worth or save something that is already falling apart. And the more you try to hold on, the heavier the relationship becomes. Because what was meant to be a gathering becomes a constant struggle. What was meant to be support becomes a source of anxiety. What was meant to bring peace begins to consume your emotional energy. There is a truth that is difficult to accept, but profoundly liberating. When love begins to cause more pain than peace, staying is not an act of courage. It is an act of self-abandonment. The end of such a relationship does not represent failure, weakness, or an inability to love. On the contrary, often, ending it is the first real act of self-love after a long time. Breakups hurt because they shatter expectations, dreams, and the versions of the future you've built in your mind. But they also mark a silent turning point. It's the moment when the universe, clearly or brutally, invites you to choose yourself, to choose your emotional health, your well-being, your truth. Not everything that ends is wrong. Some things end precisely because they fulfilled their purpose, to show you how far you can go, and where you need to stop so you don't lose yourself. There are encounters that defy all logic. Sometimes, the right person appears at the wrong time in your life. In other cases, everything seems to align. The conversation flows, values connect, the feeling of recognition is immediate. And yet, for reasons beyond your control, that relationship simply cannot exist. Not because there is a lack of feeling, but because the conditions are not right. And it is precisely there that one of the deepest emotional pains someone can experience is born: loving someone who cannot stay. This kind of love hurts because it never comes to fruition. It lives in the realm of almost, of what if, of what could have been. There's no closure, no complete answers, no clear end, only absence. And the mind tries to find culprits, explanations, signs from fate that make it all seem less unfair. It feels like punishment. It feels like the universe was cruel in showing you something so beautiful, only to take it away right after. But these connections don't happen by chance. They don't appear to be lived, but rather to be felt. Impossible love acts as an emotional mirror. It reveals parts of yourself that may have been dormant, unmet needs, old deficiencies, deep desires to be seen, chosen, understood. Often, what you believe you love in the other person is actually something you are seeking to develop or heal within yourself. When a relationship can't happen, the invitation isn't to insist, but to look inward. The universe isn't denying you love. It's showing you where you still neglect yourself, where you place the other person as the source of what should be born within you. These experiences come to expand your emotional awareness, not to imprison you in waiting. They teach you that not every connection exists to last, but every connection exists to reveal something essential about who you are and about the kind of love you are still learning to build. Emotional dependency doesn't begin in an obvious way. It settles in gradually, silently, almost imperceptibly. Instead of presenting itself as weakness, it often disguises itself as intense love, deep attachment, a rare connection. Little by little, we begin to confuse love with need, presence with security, and closeness with personal value. Being with the other person ceases to be a choice and becomes a condition for feeling good. When this happens, the relationship becomes the center of your happiness. Your mood depends on the messages you receive or don't receive, the attention you get, the constant validation from the other person. Any conflict, any distance, any change in behavior feels like the end of the world. Not because the love has ended, but because your emotional foundation was resting on someone outside of yourself. And when that support threatens to fail, everything crumbles inside. This is where many remain trapped in hurtful relationships, not out of love, but out of fear. Fear of losing their emotional anchor. Fear of facing the emptiness that arises when the other person walks away. Dependence creates the illusion that, without that person, you are not enough, not complete, not capable of moving on. And this belief transforms the relationship into an invisible prison, where staying hurts, but leaving seems even more terrifying. But true love has never been about imprisonment. It doesn't diminish, control, or suffocate. True love is space. It's freedom. It's the possibility of growing without losing yourself. When you understand that you can be whole without the other person, something profoundly changes. The relationship ceases to be an anchor that pulls you down and becomes an impulse that pushes you forward. From then on, loving is no longer an attempt to complete yourself. It's a conscious choice to share what you already are. No relationship enters your life by chance. Some people come to walk alongside you for a long time, to build, to add to your life, to stay. Others appear intensely, sometimes chaotically, and leave behind deep scars. These didn't come to stay. They came to transform. And most of the time, it's precisely the most difficult relationships that carry the most important lessons. Challenging relationships act as emotional mirrors. They expose your limits, your oldest fears, your still open wounds. They reveal where you silence yourself to be accepted, where you diminish yourself to avoid losing, where you accept less than you deserve for fear of being alone. These experiences bring you face to face with parts of yourself that you might avoid seeing, but that need to be acknowledged for healing to occur. Over time, you realize that the pain didn't just come from the other person's behavior, but from how you allowed yourself to stay that way, from how much you ignored signs, exceeded your own limits, and justified what hurt you. And this realization, however uncomfortable it may be, is powerful, because it gives you back something essential: emotional responsibility for your own life. These relationships teach you to love yourself more, to truly respect yourself, to understand what you really want to build from now on, and, above all, what you are never willing to accept again. It's not about changing the other person, convincing them, or saving them. The lesson was never outside. The learning lies in what this relationship awakened in you, in what it revealed about your needs, your patterns, and your choices. When you understand this, the pain begins to make sense and transforms into awareness. The lesson, in the end, is always internal. Healing from a love that wasn't fully experienced, or from a relationship that hurt you, doesn't mean erasing the past or pretending nothing happened. Healing isn't forgetting. Healing is about reinterpretation. It's about being able to look back without being pulled back into the pain, understanding that what hurt also made you more mature. What often hurt was the price of learning to put yourself first. There's a phase where you try to understand everything rationally. What went wrong? Who made the biggest mistakes? At what point everything started to fall apart? But true healing begins when you stop looking for answers in the other person and start listening to what this experience awakened within you. The learning isn't in the details of the story, but in the transformation it brought about. When you accept this, the relationship ceases to be an open wound and becomes a chapter closed with awareness. Forgiveness is part of this process, but not in the way many imagine. Forgiving is not about approving what happened, nor minimizing the pain you felt. It is, above all, an act of personal liberation. It is deciding not to carry the emotional weight of something that has already passed. As long as resentment exists, there is a bond, and healing is precisely about cutting that invisible tie that still binds you to the past. Moving on doesn't mean closing your heart or becoming indifferent to love. On the contrary, it's about making room for a more conscious, lighter love, more aligned with who you've become after everything you've experienced. A love that doesn't demand you lose yourself to be accepted. When you learn to choose yourself, to honor your limits and your emotional needs, something changes in how the world responds to you. The universe, in some way, returns to you in the form of peace what it once took from you in the form of pain. Relationships are not punishments, nor mistakes of fate, nor accidents along the way. They are part of your journey of emotional growth. Each person who crosses your life plays a specific role. Some come to build, to stay, to walk alongside you for a long time. Others appear only for a chapter, but leave lessons that echo for years. None of them are in vain. When you begin to see relationships in this way, something profoundly changes within you. You understand that not all love is meant to last, but all love comes to reveal who you are, how far you'll go for someone, what you accept, what you need to heal, and what you deserve to experience from now on. Some people enter your life simply to remind you of your essence, your strength, and your worth, especially when you forget it. True love is never about binding, limiting, or demanding that you abandon yourself to be chosen. Real love is about awakening. It's about expanding. It's about bringing you closer to who you always were, before the wounds, the fears, and the attempts to fit in where you didn't belong. When you understand this, you stop seeing the end as loss and begin to see it as alignment. If this resonated with you, subscribe to the channel and continue this journey of self-discovery with me. And remember, the universe doesn't make mistakes. It simply introduces you to people who, in one way or another, show you the path back to yourself.